hold up.
Alright, what's up guys? So another video. I'm Kade. In case you're new to the channel, excuse me, I do BMX content every Wednesday and Saturday at 5. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about my experience over the past year with BMX. I started in December. That's where I got my Sunday bike. It's actually been a little over a year, probably. Let's see. So yeah, actually almost a year and a half. So I'm just going to be talking about that, what's worked for me, what hasn't, you know, some tricks and stuff like that. Tricks to tricks. Yeah, whatever. So I'm just going to start off by telling you guys how I got into BMX. So I went to a scout camp one year with a bunch of friends, and they had a BMX dirt jumps there. It's like a course. It was pretty cool. I've never really heard of BMX before that, and it looked kind of cool. They had like a beginner's course, so they could teach you how to pump and go around the berms and stuff, and they had some bikes there. That was back when I had, again, no knowledge of BMX, so thinking back on it, I don't remember what the bikes were, if they were good or not, aluminum, steel, or whatever, but anyways, it was back at that camp with friends, and they were all like, yeah, let's do the bike track, you know, that sounds really fun. And they were like, yeah, sure. So we took the beginner's course, and that was super fun. It taught us how to pump and jump a little bit. None of us really knew how to bunny hop or even knew any tricks, anything like that. We did the course. We pretty much, the only thing we knew how to do was just pedal. And so we just pedaled and turned around the berm, and then we got to the big course, and that had the big jumps. But none of us knew how to, you know, bunny hop or jump a jump or anything, or even knew what casing was. And so, you know, we were just riding, having fun. And that was my first experience with BMX. I was 15. I think I was 15 or 14 or 15 when I went there. And that was my first exposure to it. And then they had a skate park there, actually, but you could only ride boards on it. And so at the time I didn't really have a desire to. I mean, I imagined that it would be fun, but you know, I didn't really know anything about BMX really. Skateboard's a little bigger than BMX, but so that was my first encounter with BMX. Then I got home, and my brother was like, yo, how do you do this? This is so cool on a bike. It's called a bunny hop. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And I tried it, and it was a lot tougher than it looked. That on the YouTube, the guys were talking about and stuff. And my brother was like, oh, I give up. I'm like, oh, this is kind of fun. I'm gonna keep going. So I kind of kept going, and I just kept being persistent at it. And I got it after, I don't know what, 2 weeks probably. It was probably 2 weeks. And it just kind of came out of nowhere. And then I did that. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, this is an actual thing, you know. This is a sport. BMX is a sport. And I was like, well, what's the next thing I can learn how to do? Well, bunny hop higher. So I started to learn how to bunny hop higher, and I learned about manuals. And for the longest time, actually, I heard someone say in a video that like manuals are like the key to every trick. And like obviously now I know that's not true. It's bunny hops, but still, I was like, yeah, manuals. So manuals was like the second thing I tried to learn. Didn't go so well because I didn't have very good bike control. But and then I was like, oh, you can spin the bike, and then I started looking up how-tos on like beginner tricks, you know, like, you know, everybody does. And I looked up how to do a 180, and I watched so many videos on how to do 180, and they're like, you got to fakie first. I'm like, okay, but I want to learn how to do the 180 first. And then once, like, you know, I can get the full rotation around, then I'll go and try to fakie. And I did that. I was like, yeah, I can get the 180 around. And then I was like, maybe I should have learned the fakie. But it took some dedication and persistence. I really wanted to learn to actually pull a 180. So I spent probably a whole 2 days. Like, the only thing I did was sit in my garage and run up against the wall and try to fakie out of it. That was all I did for 2 days. And it was fun, but I did learn how to fakie. Not far, but I learned how to fakie enough to get out of the 180. And then I a couple more tries at a 180 and faking out, and I got it. And as I just did more 180s, I just got more comfortable at them, better at them, and now I can pretty much do 180 every try and fake you out of it. Also learned how to half cab. That was just like, oh, I can half cab? Oh, awesome, half cab out, first try, you know. It was one of those things. After that, I just kind of stuck with 180s for a while. I just kind of worked on my bunny hops, worked on fakies, you know. I started working on manuals a lot because that was the next trick that seemed, it wasn't very danger inclined, so as long as you learned how to loop out correctly, you know, stick your feet out if you looped out, then you were fine. So I just started learning manuals across my cul-de-sac, getting better at those. So those were really the 3 tricks, you know, that started. And then I looked up online, like a local skate park near me, and there's one downtown 45 minutes away. I'm like, let's go. Oh gosh. And yeah, anyways, I'm like, why not? So I asked my dad, I'm like, Dad, let's go to the skate park downtown. I want to see what it's like. And he's like, all right. So one Saturday we go down to the skate park, and I'm like, whoa, this is, you know, I've never been to a skate park before, but it was really cool. And there are people everywhere, and skateboarders, mostly skateboarders, because there's a nice street spot, but you guys have seen it in my other videos. They have a couple of bowls, and it took me a while, it took me a lot of courage to just do the roll-in into the bowl, because it was kind of steep. It's nothing I've ever done before. And my dad's like, if you do the roll-in right now, I'll buy you a pair of Vans for riding. I'm like, all right, let's do it. And I rolled in, and it was super fun, super easy. I was like, that's no problem. And then, but that was my first time being in a bowl. I was like, crap, I don't know how to get out. And I was pumping around the bowl, you know, pedaling, because I didn't know how to pump very well at that time. And I saw a skater waiting. He wanted to get in the bowl, and so I was like, crap, what am I supposed to do? And I was like, well, I better hop out. I've seen some other BMX guys, they just kind of run real fast up the wall and you just kind of hop out. All right, let's try it. Let's just, you know, just send it. And so I was like, I pedaled real hard towards the wall, and I just hopped right out. My whole bike didn't get out, but I got my feet up enough so I could just stand up, pull the rest of my bike out. So I was like, yeah, I got it. And so I learned that without even really learning it, I guess. And my dad's like, all right, after this, we're going to the mall, go to the Vans store, and we'll get you a pair of shoes. So that's where I got my first pair of Vans from. Actually, I'll tell you another story about the skate park. The first time actually I ever went to the skate park, it was after we were done mountain biking on a trail. And I was like, I want to hit up the skate park quickly and just see what it looks like, you know? And so we were there. We got there after mountain biking, me, my dad, and my brother. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And we got out and walked around and looked at it. And my dad's like, all right, get a mountain bike. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, get a mountain bike. I'm like, isn't that, like, you're not supposed to do that? He's like, no, you can do that. I'm like, well, most people don't do that. And he's like, yeah, we'll just try it. I was like, okay. So I got my mountain bike out, and I started kind of riding around. I got some funny looks because, you know, you don't really see a mountain bike very often at a skate park. And it was fun the time I had. The bike was really long, so like some of the transitions and stuff, we have like it's like a tube, it's like I don't know, like a bowl, but it's not. It's hard to explain. It's like a runway, if you will, of like transitions and stuff. You can look at it in one of my other videos. In case you guys are wondering, it's the Owens Field Skate Park here in South Carolina. And my dad's like, all right, drop into the bowl. And this is before I dropped into the bowl on my BMX bike. He's like, all right, drop in the bowl with the mountain bike. I was like, all right, yeah. I was like, yeah, no way. Like, because the bike was really long, and I was afraid by the time my front tire got down there, my back tire would still be up, and I go OTB, and that wouldn't be fun. So I just kind of brought the bike down into the bowl and then got on it and started riding around. But again, I didn't know how to pump, and I didn't know the way, I guess you could say the way of the bowl, like the path of the bowl or whatever. And so I just go up. I've seen people, you know, air out, so they just kind of go up and then do 180 and like kind of turn around. So I went straight at the wall with my mountain bike, and I just like fell on my side because one, I didn't have enough speed, and two, I had no clue what the heck I was doing. So, and I was like, all right, I'm done with that. And then we left after that, and then I got a BMX bike for Christmas. It was my first BMX bike, Sunday primer. 2017 fluorescent orange. You guys have probably seen it. I now have a Stranger Crux version 2 frame. Done some swaps with it, but it's pretty cool. I like the coloring on it. Anyways, that's my first experience with the skate park. And then after that, I just kind of learned what everybody did, where the skaters went, you know, where the BMXers went and everything. I learned who to watch out for, what to watch out for. It just comes in time, I guess. And then for the longest time, I wanted to learn how to do a bar spin. And I was like, oh, I can do it. I'd be laying in bed. I'd be like, oh, all you got to do is bunny hop, and I can just imagine myself throwing the bars. And I'd go to try it, like, say flatland. I was like, there's no way I can bunny hop, and I can't even get one hand off when I would try it. And then I go to the skate park, and I would jump out of the bowl, and I just couldn't, you know, do it. And I was so frustrated for so long. But at the time, I only been riding my bike for like 6 months, and you know, that's crazy to you know, learn a bar spin in 6 months, to bunny hop and all that bike control and everything. So I kind of moved on with that, and then since I knew how to do 180, I decided to learn how to do 180 out of the bowl, since it's a little different because there's the coping and everything. But I did do it, and that was fun as well. It's in my head, it was a new trick. It was you know, different. And then and then for a while I had been messing around with 360s, you know, just trying them here and there. And then all of a sudden I was like, I just had this feeling. I was just like, you can do a 360. How come you haven't done it before? I just had this feeling I could do it. And I was like, all right, and I did it, and I landed the 360. And I got so hyped up, so excited. I got so excited that I just went to the grass and did a front flip right there. I didn't land it, I landed on my butt, but then I got so excited about that I was like, I can do a front flip flat ground. And I just ran and did it, and it was an awesome day. 360 and learned how to do a front flip flat ground, so it was pretty dope. I mean, I guess that's where I'm at now, but I've gotten a lot more bike control since then too. There's different small tricks I can do. Like, I've done a T-bog or a toboggan before. Probably done a tire grab a few times. I've done a seat grab. I've almost done a suicide, no-hander, whatever you want to call that, suicide. I can do no-footers, like no one-footed can or something like that. There's different various tricks I can do. After I learned the 360, though, I did do that out of the bowl. That looked pretty cool. It's back in my later video titled, I don't know. It's like my first, yeah, I don't know. And then I started wanting to learn bar spins again, since I dropped it a couple months ago. I was like, you know, we'll hit it up again. And since I had a lot more bike control, I was way more able to have the confidence to let go of my bars and squeeze my seat. My biggest problem for me was getting my legs back. I was always afraid of I'd throw the bars and it'd smack me in the side. Even though I had shin pads on, I didn't want to get tangled up my bars, because that sucks. But then I just got the courage one day to just throw it, and my legs were back. Again, just like the 360, it just kind of clicked in my head. I was just like, just put your legs back. That's all you got to do. That is the third time that motorcycle's gone by. He went this way, and then that way, and now back that way. Anyways, yeah, it just clicked for me, and I was like, just do a bar spin and move your legs back. And I did it, and I did it. I was like, dang. So now I'm still working on bar spins. If I really want to, I can do a flat bar spin, but I don't like to. I'd rather go to the skate park first and start trying to add a, you know, fly out, because that's what everybody suggests the way to learn it. That's not the way I learned it or am learning it. I learned it flat, and that makes your bar spins easier when you learn it that way. All the other bar spins, learning bar spins flat is really hard, but I actually found it scarier to throw the bars coming out of a fly out than just doing it flat. I could do it flat and get like a half bar, and then I'd be like, all right, now bunny hop high and just chuck the things, and then they come around barely. But tips and tricks, or tricks on tips, or whatever you want to say. Well, like everybody says, just for 180s, just look over your shoulder, look where you want to land, and you'll land there. It'll bring you around. 360, same thing. You just gotta don't look at your 180 spot, which is what you'll be used to doing. You're gonna want to look at your 180 spot, but you're gonna have to keep your head around and keep looking for that where you started off at. And I do suggest learning at 180 before you learn at 360. I've never heard or met anyone that's learned a 360 and then learned a 180. Kind of fun, but and then you can bring those to bigger stuff. Taking your hands off, just take one hand off, and it's kind of you just kind of got to do it, taking your hands off if you're just barely getting in BMX. You do it fly out first. You just got to do it and put your hand, even if it's just to let go and then grab your hand back on, it's still letting go of your bars. And then after I did that for the first time, I just bunny hopped and did a one-hander and put a hand on. It was easy. And then I started doing one-footers, and then I just started doing no-footers, and those were easy. And then I started getting cleaner no-footers. And I do suggest getting riding shoes, because that'll help grip the bottom to help grip your pedals. Well, I think that's going to be it. I can't think of anything else to help you guys out, trips or just my experience. I've told you everything that I know, for the most part. If you guys are interested in hearing anything else, just hit me up in the comments and I'll answer them down below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and make sure to subscribe, and I guess we'll see you guys next time.
I work hard every day, yeah, yeah, yeah.